The Astros are off to their worst start in years, 7-16 to be exact, which matches the second worst record through the first 23 games in franchise history and the worst since 2016. They dropped 2 out of 3 against the Nationals this weekend at Nationals Park. This series should have been a series sweep, but instead it was almost the opposite. So we're going to talk all about it. First off, I do want to quickly mention I'm recording this on a Monday, and you guys are hopefully going to be seeing it on this day. So I normally record these videos on Sunday, but I was a bit busy last night with work. Anyway, let's recap the Astros' most recent setback series loss against the Nationals right now. On a day that began with the news of yet another blow to the starting rotation for the Astros, they only managed 4 hits against rookie Mitchell Parker again in the series finale yesterday, to give us our 5th loss in the last 6 games. The only win in that stretch, of course, coming this past Friday. The Astros are now 7-16 on the season so far, matching their worst start through 23 games or second worst rather in franchise history and worst since 2016. But let's recap the series. So game number 1 was, of course, the video that I reacted to. So if you guys have not seen that video, then definitely do check it out. I'll link it at the end of this video. But Justin Verlander made his triumphant return to the starting rotation in this game, and he didn't miss a beat. And I mean, these are the kinds of wins like that the Astros got in this game. These are the wins that we need to be getting every single night. Like, whenever we do win baseball games, obviously, I mean, we're going to lose a couple here and there, but whenever we do win games, these are the wins that we need to get. Get a quality start from your starter where he throws at least 6 innings while giving up 3 earned runs or less. That's what JV did. You score 5 or more runs on offense. They did score 5. And then have the bullpen finish what the starter began. I mean, this was the very first time where Joe Espada was able to send out the dominant 3 bullpen trio with Brian Abreu, Ryan Pressly, and Josh Hader. And this was the first time where that formula actually worked out in the Astros' favor. But once again, it did not come without its drama in the 9th inning, more particularly from Josh Hader, who, I mean, has really not been the best because, so far, that money we signed on him is starting to become a bit of a waste. He only has 2 saves in, I believe, 6 tries, if not 4 this season. But the Astros have been outscored pretty badly in the 9th inning. I want to say maybe 18-3 in the 9th inning with 6 blown saves in that mix entering play, I believe, on Saturday. I mean, that stat alone is just certainly kind of sad. But, the Astros were able to get back in the win column on this game. But unfortunately, that was as good as this series ever got for the Astros the entire weekend. Because going into Game 2, the Astros just needed 3 more outs against the top of the Nats lineup to secure the series victory. With Josh Hader unavailable this game, having thrown 30 pitches the night before, it was up to Ryan Pressly. And, I mean, Ryan Pressly is a guy who I really don't trust in the closer role, and he proved that again today as he allowed the Nats to score 2 runs to tie the game to eventually send the game to Manfred innings, where the Astros would then lose. Unfortunately for the Astros, the reason why I think they have stunk in extra inning games this season, really ever since the rule was first added in 2020, I mean, I think it's just because they just stink offensively in extra innings. Even with the automatic runner that the Astros get in these circumstances, they can hardly ever score him. And even when they do, particularly on road games, even if they do score him, usually the road team just always ends up responding by scoring just 2 more runs to win the game. And in this game, it was more the same. And Altuve was our Manfred runner in this game in the top of the 10th inning of it. And unfortunately for him, he did make it to third base, but he attempted to try to score from third on a sac fly that really didn't get that deep, and he was thrown out by a mile. So, and of course, one batter later, on the very first pitch of the bottom of the 10th inning, boom, game over. It's so cheap, and I mean, I still don't understand why this goes towards a win for the teams, because it really shouldn't. And I mean, I really wish that that they should really be changing the way that extra inning games are played. Because, I mean, I will not be tolerating it for much longer. So, anyway, going into Game 3, I mean, it should have been a game where the Astros would be able to easily get the series finale and take the series. But unfortunately, well before the game started, I had woken up to some not so good news with Christian Javier getting scratched from his scheduled start with neck spasms. He would then later on hit the IL, and he will likely be there for at least a week or probably for the rest of the month. But Hunter Brown, who came in to replace him, was really not that much better because, well, he gave up 3 runs in the first inning as the Nats scored all over him. Honestly, dude, the 3 runs that they scored off of him all came on soft contact hits, which, again, I've kind of said in previous videos that soft contact has really proven to be our nemesis. Like, there's really just not much we can really do on soft contact hits other than just, roll the dice and just pray that, that a fielder is where he is. But that was just not the case. And pretty much every hit that the Nats would get would find a hole. And the Astros, it was the exact opposite. Like, they could not, they only got, I think, maybe 2 or 3 hits. They got 4 hits in the game. And then they were embarrassed offensively, which is just sad. And thank goodness that I didn't watch this game because I had to work, because it seems like I didn't miss very much. But there are a couple of things that I think that the Astros can do to turn things around, and I've broken it down into 2 things. The very first thing is take advantage of our upcoming schedule, and so far we have yet to do that because the Nats are a team who are projected to only win, I think, 70 games this season, and the Astros just gave them 2 of them. Which is really not what you want to do when I'm talking about taking advantage of your easy schedule, because the Astros have played a difficult schedule to start the season. They played at 4 against the Yankees to start, and 7 of their next 10 came against the Rangers, and also 3 more. And also in that mix, we had 3 against the Braves and also the Blue Jays. I mean, all of those teams, of course, are very good World Series contending teams entering this season. And they were also swept by the Kansas City Royals, who are on a rather good upstart and off to one of their best starts in years. And again, over the course of the season, the Astros have really squandered a chance at series wins, particularly this weekend, of course, on Sunday, and really Sunday's rubber games should be viewed as a missed opportunity. But it's when the Astros travel to Mexico City next weekend for a quick 2-game set against the Colorado Rockies. And again, like I said, that game's going to be in Mexico City. I mean, I'll see if I can bring you guys a reaction video for that. But after that, they've got upcoming series against the Guardians and Mariners. The Guardians are at home. The Guardians this year are absolutely on fire. Like, they're currently coming in with the best record in the AL as we speak right now. And then they travel on the road for I believe 3 games against the Yankees, and then 3 more games against the Detroit Tigers, who are also off to a very good start. And then eventually they will return to Houston to host the A's. But after this weekend series against the Rockies, it's going to get tough again. At this point, the Astros really need to start playing a lot better. And the second thing they could do to hopefully at least spark something like that on offense is get the rotation healthy. And again, this seemed like the Astros were already in the process of doing this when the season began. And with Christian Javier hitting the IL yesterday rather, that added another hurdle that the Astros had to jump and would sideline him for probably at least the rest of the month. And it's the latest hurdle in a season whose starting rotation has been snake bit by pitching injuries. I mean, they were starting to get healthy again with JV's season debut on Friday. Framber Valdez is nearing his return. He threw a bullpen session on Saturday, and it's becoming likely that he'll be able to join the rotation without the need for a rehab start. He's currently with the team on this road trip, so he doesn't need to travel out with them, or we don't need to wait till our next homestand for him to pitch. So that's good news. And there's also the chance that he and JV could start the upcoming series in Chicago, which is something that has not happened all year up till this point. So that's also good news. But the bad news is that we have already used 22 pitchers this season, excluding position players. That's the same number that we used all of last year. And we're going to need more than that if Javier needs to miss more time, like if he needs to miss the first couple of weeks of May. And while getting their top starters back should stabilize things, that doesn't make the timing of Javier's injury any less unfortunate, because Brown, like I've said in previous videos, is struggling considerably with a 9.68 ERA. JP France, really not that much better. His ERA has risen over 7 in his first 4 starts. And with Javier going on the IL, that now gives us 5 starting pitchers on the IL. And if you look back at the 2022 World Series starting rotation, JV is the only pitcher of those 5 pitchers that is currently not on the injured list. At no point this season have we had more than 2 pitchers of that rotation healthy. So, that really has been challenging the limits of our pitching depth. because, again, the way that the Astros have been playing to start the season, it's something we're accustomed to. But digging this deep of a hole is when we probably should start hitting the panic button, because, they need to be picking it up a little bit. I mean, the second thing about the schedule, it's not considering their opponents, but also the number of off days that they have. They have, including today, they have 3 off days over the next week or so, which should give the team some flexibility to manipulate its starting rotation from a workload standpoint, and also provide some relief corps from the bullpen that much needed time to recharge, particularly, again, Josh Hader, and he should be ready to go at least for the first game of the Cubs series, depending on how that goes. But that's also a good thing for Christian Javier, because that will also limit the amount of time that he needs to miss, assuming he's able to return rather quickly. But again, seeing us in this situation, it's not really ideal, but, it's something, again, that the Astros have certainly been accustomed to, and then, come maybe mid-May and then June or so is when we'll kick it into gear. The entire AL West right now is a mess. Like, the Rangers are the only team in this division who are currently above 500. All in all, it's not really a lost cause for the Astros, assuming that they want to, stay in the division race. But at the same time, we still have yet to crack 10 wins this season. Even to this point, if it's say the final week of April and we're only barely above 10 wins, then that's a level of concern. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Drop your thoughts down below on how you think this series should have went versus how it did go. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.